All right, so today we're diving into a framework that has totally changed how millions of people think about money and work. It's Robert Kiyosaki's Cashflow Quadrant. Honestly, it's a super powerful tool for understanding the different ways we all earn our income, and it might just flip the script on how you see your own career path. Let's get into it.
You know the one. We've all been asked this question probably 100 times since we were kids, and we always think in terms of jobs, right? Doctor, pilot, artist, engineer. That one question pretty much shapes our entire education.
But what if that's been the wrong question all along? The book we're digging into today makes a bold claim. Focusing on a job title is totally missing the bigger picture when it comes to actually building wealth.
And that brings us to the absolute core idea here. Where your money comes from is way more important than what you do for a living. Think about it. A doctor can be poor, and a high school dropout can be incredibly rich. The difference, according to Kiyosaki, is all about which part of a very specific quadrant they're operating from.
So let's get right to the heart of it. This is the cash flow quadrant. It's a really simple diagram that breaks down the 4 basic ways people generate income in our economy. At its core, the quadrant is a tool for you. It's designed to help you pinpoint, okay, where am I financially right now? And, more importantly, it helps you map out a path to where you really want to go. And here it is. Simple, right? Just 4 letters. E, S, B, and I. But each one represents a totally different way of earning money and really a totally different mindset. So let's break down what each of these means.
Okay, first up, the E quadrant. This is the most common path, the one most of us are taught. You work for someone else, you have a job, and in exchange you get a steady paycheck and benefits. The big driver here, the core value, is security.
Next, we've got the S quadrant. This is when you work for yourself. Think of a doctor with a private practice, a freelance graphic designer, or a small shop owner. The key value here isn't security, it's independence. S-quadrant people are often perfectionists who live by the motto, if you want it done right, you gotta do it yourself.
Now we're crossing over to the other side of the quadrant. The B is for a true business owner. And here's the crucial difference between an S and a B. A B owns a system that makes money, even when they're not there. They hire smart people to run that system for them. And finally, we have the I quadrant. This is where the real magic happens. Here, you don't work for money anymore. Your money works for you. Your income comes from your assets, like stocks, real estate, or other businesses. This is the quadrant of real passive income and, ultimately, financial freedom.
So as you can see, the quadrant is clearly split right down the middle. You've got the left side and the right side. But this isn't just a financial thing. It's a fundamental difference in how you think, what you value, and how you see the world.
I mean, the contrast is pretty stark, isn't it? The left side is all about the search for security, a steady paycheck, and doing everything you can to avoid risk. The right side, though, is driven by the hunt for freedom, and they see risk as something you learn from and manage.
This quote just perfectly captures that left side mindset. It's the advice Kiyosaki's poor dad, his own highly educated father who worked for the government, always gave him. It's the script that so many of us are taught to follow.
But here's the problem with that path. It can trap you in what Kiyosaki famously calls the rat race. You end up completely dependent on that job, working harder and harder just to keep up with the bills, always just 1 or 2 missed paychecks away from serious trouble. So how in the world do you get out of it? It really starts with understanding the massive difference between being the best at your job and owning the system. And Kiyosaki uses this one brilliant question to make the point crystal clear. And that just perfectly explains the S versus B mindset. Look, almost anyone listening can probably make a better hamburger than McDonald's. That's the S quadrant. You're focused on making a better product. But how many of us could build a better business system than McDonald's? That's the B quadrant. It's all about a repeatable, scalable system. And that's where the real wealth is built.
Okay, so how do you make the shift? This is maybe the biggest idea in the whole book. Moving from the left side to the right isn't just about changing what you do for a living. It's about fundamentally changing who you are.
Yeah, this isn't like just switching careers or updating your resume. This requires a deep down shift in your core values, how you think, and especially how you handle emotions like fear and self-doubt. It's a massive personal transformation.
So to make that change, Kiyosaki says you have to flip a common way of thinking. Most of us think like this: I want to have a lot of money, so I need to do what rich people do, and then I will be rich. He says that's completely backwards. You have to first be the kind of person who has an investor's mindset. From there, you will naturally do the right things, and as a result, you will have the wealth you want.
So if this is all starting to click for you,
You're probably asking, okay, so what are the first steps? Well, the book lays out a pretty clear path for anyone who's looking to start this journey.
The most important advice is to just start small, but start now. You have to educate yourself like crazy and find mentors who have already been where you want to go. And this is a big one. You have to embrace your mistakes. See them as learning experiences. But maybe most importantly, you have to learn to control your emotions, because fear and doubt, they're going to be your biggest enemies on this journey.
And get this is a pretty staggering claim from the book. Being financially intelligent is only about 10% technical knowledge about money. The other 90%, it's all emotional intelligence. It's about your ability to conquer your own fear, greed, and self-doubt.
Ultimately, that's what this is all about. The journey to the right side of the quadrant is an internal one. It starts and ends with your own self-belief and choosing to believe in your own potential, even when the people around you might not get it.
And that leaves us with one final big question to think about. Looking at this framework, where are you today? And after all this, the real question is, where do you want to be tomorrow? The choice, as the book makes very clear, is entirely yours.